Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2018 Career Mode. Today we are here for round 2 of Season 7 for the Bahrain Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the opening race at Australia, do check out the race, guys, by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen. Now today, like I mentioned, we arrived here at Bahrain, no upgrades on the car. As I said before, we're trying to plan a big upgrade package for Spain, which is when the European season starts. So we're going to spend the first 4 races putting away lots of R&D points because, as you see in a moment's time, no one's brought any upgrades for this race. Now, in this episode, before we jump into qualifying, I'm going to have a little quick look at the R&D tree with you guys, and we're going to see exactly where the Ferrari is compared to the rest of the pack. So we get an idea in terms of what to develop going forward. Now, we're going to first of all delve into the durability, and I can say straight away, as you guys see in a moment on screen, the Ferrari is great. Not much work needs to be done here, only realistically maybe an ICE upgrade, which is what I've selected on screen, around 1300 points. So the durability is looking pretty damn good. Now, in terms of the other 3 departments, Ferrari is probably about mid-table. If we take a look at the chassis, you'll see that we're currently on the bottom half, and the upgrades, there's quite a few to do there, but they're all very cheap. The first few upgrades are minor ones, and they're all floating around the 200 to 300 point mark, so it could be a lot of those minor ones that get put on the car for Spain. There's 5 minor ones there to be done. In terms of the aerodynamics, also we are pretty much bang mid-table, and we've got again lots of minor upgrades to do. The Ferrari car tends to have a lot of major and ultimate ones already applied, so all we've got really to do is minor upgrades, which is good because it's quick and it's little development and it doesn't cost much. In terms of the engine as well, we are currently mid-table, just slightly in the second half, and again a lot of ultimate and major ones on the car, and it's all about the minor upgrades on this car. So again, very cheap, and I do think this plan of going forward, going into Spain, saving as many points as possible, I think that's going to work really nicely for us because the minor upgrades are very cheap to get. So I think we could potentially have a huge upgrade package for Spain, and it could really be a big upgrade for that race. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we can build towards that, and I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what comes from it. Now, in terms of this race, we're here at Bahrain. Now, you guys know, and I know really well, this is probably the AI's strongest track in the entire game, along with Baku. Those 2 circuits, AI, are very quick. In Bahrain, I'd say they're much stronger over 1 lap and not so bad in the race. They're more raceable on Sunday. At Baku, they're just very strong qualifying and the race. So, yeah, it's a bit of both. So we'll just see how it goes. Pretty much for this one, though, the target in this session, there isn't really a specific one because I don't really know where I'm going to be. All I know is AI are going to be very, very fast, and we just got to try our best to basically put a good lap together and hope that we can maybe get a good result. You know, like P12, 13 maybe, or maybe a top 10. I can't realistically see it, but you never know. I might surprise myself in this session. So let's go on to the track. We're going to go for 3 runs, as we always do, on the super soft compound tyres. And my first one was actually a good banker. It wasn't terribly like a terrible lap or anything. It was actually pretty good. And lately, my first laps, my first banker lap in qualifying, have been pretty strong, and this one was no exception. It was a very good reference point to get an idea of where the car was, and also relative to where the other competitors around us were. As you can see, Alonso currently fastest in the McLaren as we cross the line now, and we go P7, although quite a way off the pace, 1.4 seconds to be exact, and we're still waiting for the Saubers to set some lap time, so that gap's going to increase quite a bit. In the meantime, we dropped down to P15 though, going on to our second run. A lot of cars improved, and I was up against it. On my second run, I was about 3/10 up, but then I just pushed the limit a little bit too much there. I flirted with the edge of the track, and we got the invalidation there on my second run for running a little bit too wide. Luckily, I did set a better lap in my third run, and it was my best run in the entire session. So let's run a ball now for a full lap of the Bahrain International Circuit here in the middle of the desert in the twilight conditions, and straight away across the line, using overtake to maximise the top end speed. And for turn 1, 100 metre board, you want to try and get the car slow down and really rotate for the apex. I run a bit deep, to be honest with you, and somehow I found time. I don't know how I done it, but we ran very deep. I locked up a little bit, missed my apex, but I think just the fact I broke so late, I built such a big delta. But nonetheless, through turn 4, patience required through here. The car really wants to slip away from you. The understeer is absolutely just critical, and you need to try and be patient. Let the car flow through this middle section here as we go down the hill, down towards turn number 7. Turn 8, I believe. And now we're going to go on the power for a short square down towards turn 9, which feeds into the most tricky corner on the track, turn 10, the hairpin here. And we get a really nice line, turning the car in right at the last minute, finding the rotation, the back end working beautifully, and the front end just basically going wherever I want it to go. So all in all, the setup's working well as we now go into this next left for turn 11, and it's all about getting the power down as soon as possible here to maximise your speed up the hill as we climb up through turn 12, and the end of sector 2 is upon us, and now we start the final sector here, and we're looking pretty good here. here, improving quite nicely as we run onto the curb this time, not as wide as the last one, therefore avoiding the invalidation. And now with 2 more corners to go, which is basically 1 really, the final corner here. We're going to brake just before, or sorry, just after the DRS detection point. Really focus on your exit here and don't take too much curb on the outside, otherwise it's going to compromise your traction. We do improve by half a second, and we don't really improve that much in terms of positions though. We jump up to P15 and we actually go into the 123s there, so not much more we could have done. Not too bad pace, to be fair. I expected worse. We was only a half second or so behind my teammates, so it wasn't that bad. And yeah, I think we maximised the qualifying. The lap itself was perfect. Turn 1 could have been better, but somehow I'm not too convinced I could have gained much more time because I seemed to gain a lot by braking so late. So yeah, maybe there was maybe a 10th in the lap, but the rest of the lap, besides turn 1, the rest of the lap was so perfect. Even if I'd got turn 1 now, it would have been so hard to match the rest of the lap all the way around. So I was probably up there. I reckon maybe P15 was possible because obviously Bottas went on to improve. But generally speaking, that was the best we could have done in qualifying. I'm quite happy we maximised it, but now we move into the race on the fresh set of tyres and let's see if we can make something happen on the contra strategy. It's time for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
There's something in the Bahrain air tonight, and I'm not just talking about the sand. Our brightest minds have thrust their brightest ideas into the spotlight of the Sakhir circuit this evening as we look ahead once more to a Grand Prix that has thrilled us so consistently in the past. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best at turn 1 of course, and then another soon into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. Bahrain has showed us many times in the past though, Anthony Davidson, that a good strategy will only take you so far. Beyond that, you need good racecraft and you need good consistency.
And a little bit of luck too, I'd say. This is one of those circuits where the safety car always seems to come out just at the right time to condense the field together and mix up the cars on different strategies. It's hard on brakes, it's tough on fuel, and the main overtaking opportunity is down into turn 1, where it's easy to outbrake your opponent and potentially have a bit of argy-bargy as well.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position and Marcus Ericsson completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Alonso, Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg and Van Dorn, Verstappen, Vettel, Sainz and Sergio Perez, Magnussen, Grosjean, Esteban Ocon and Hamilton, Bottas, Martinez, Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, here we are then on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix. P16 on the grid, as best as we could have done in qualifying yesterday, in my opinion, and not as bad as the grid position reflects, because we was only half a second behind Sebastian Vettel, so it wasn't that bad, to be honest. And I think we do have potential here today for a better race, and race pace is always a little bit better than qualifying pace. The AI aren't as strong. It's more of a one lap when they're just ridiculous. And also in the pit stop phase, you know, when it comes to in laps and out laps on the fresh and old tyres, they're pretty quick. Now, in terms of the strategy today, I'm going to try and roll the dice. I'm going to go for the one-stop strategy. It's the only way I can see myself getting a decent result. My target is pretty simple. I'm not going to have the pace, obviously, to compete with the top 10, but I might have pace to compete with the 5 cars in front of me, all the way up to P11, who are probably going to start on the soft tyre with me. And obviously, with that in mind, if I can just be the lead soft tyre runner, I'm going to have a good chance, regardless of whatever happens in the race, of scoring some strong points. So this is all about, you know, just a battle of attrition, being patient. Hopefully the race will come to us later on, and the plan is simple. I just want to score points this race. That's all I want to do, score a few points and I'll be happy. So with that being said, let's just jump into it here and let's see how the race goes. It's time for round 2 for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's jump into it. Right, here we go. Let's get ready for the 5 red lights here at Bahrain. The lights come on, revs are in the sweet spot, and now the lights are off, and away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Not a bad start, to be fair. We've had a lot worse than that as we race down towards turn 1. We're going to try and pick up the inside line here. Oof, Hamilton just weaving there in the brake zone. Down the inside though of a couple of Mercedes cars. Bottas is on the outside. He's going to get forced out there. All these guys around us so far seem to be on the soft compound tyres with us, so looks like strategy wise it's important that we do beat them. Up towards turn 4 here, we've got a little bit of slowing down traffic wise. Seems like everyone's trying to find their space on track. Going to make a tweak to the brake bias as well, just in case, just to feel more comfortable. See if we can maybe go for a little dive here down towards the hairpin. Late on the brakes up the inside of Lewis Hamilton, my former teammate. A little bit of contact in the process, but we get the move done. Up to P14, 2 places gained. Another tweak of the brake bias up to 56 now. I want to have a little bit more front end brakes for the start of the race while the car's heavy on fuel. Ocon gets a poor run through there. He does get a strong acceleration though, and we can't really gain much on him unfortunately, but there was a good chance there of making a move on Ocon potentially. He was quite slow through that hairpin. As usual, car feels a little bit understeery, kind of similar to Australia. I might make a front wing tweak in the pit stop because once I go into that medium I might need a little bit more of a front end on my car, so I might actually do that right now to be honest. There we go, put a little bit more front wing on the car. Here comes Hamilton, he's going to attack me into the final corner as I didn't have a great exit there. I'm going to hold the inside line, pretty straightforward, go for the squeeze on the exit. There we go, that's going to force him into a battle now with Bottas as we crank up the engine modes to full power. I'm going to try and shake him off. I need to catch up to the pack in front. It's important to not let the pack get away. So I want to try and catch up to Ocon and stick with him preferably. Especially because he's in the soft tyre as well, so it's important to stay on the same strategy. Right, lap 3 DRS is now enabled. I need to try and catch up to Ocon here, so I need another strong lap. I haven't really made much progress on that last lap. I catched him a little bit, but not by enough. I need to find more time if I can. We're starting to close in a little bit now. The problem is everyone in front is pretty much in a train. They've all got DRS on one another, so it's really hard to close in because just as you start to close the gap, they have DRS on the straight and they just open up a gap again. So it's going to take a bit of a while. Patience is required, but we are making good progress here as we set another personal best. Ocon's going to go for a move on Grosjean. That might be the opening I need to try and close in. Okay, Grosjean and Ocon, sorry. Grosjean and Ocon battling pretty heavily now. They've lost a hell of a lot of time. And we've closed in. We should nab some DRS on the back straight here as we've got ourselves within range, which is good. There we go. DRS for the first time this race. Now we're at the races. We've also cleared Hartley behind. He hasn't got DRS on me, so we can focus solely on attacking and not defending and attacking at the same time, which is great. Now let's try and close up this gap and let's see if we can have a go at the 2 cars in front of us here very soon. Okay, pretty strong exit there. We've just stayed within range of Ocon. If I can just set up a run here through the final corner, get on the power quite nicely, that's not too bad. Ocon will have DRS on Grosjean though, but I think he's a bit far back to really benefit from any major tow, and I think we should get the run on him here. Here we go down the inside into turn 1. Very nice move. Go for the squeeze, and that is a textbook maneuver into turn 1. We're now up to P13, Romain Grosjean up next, and there's battles starting to happen in front of us as well, so this is looking good so far. It's encouraging, the tyres are holding on, they're consistent, and the battles are just occurring naturally, and we're coming into this race. One thing I will say, and I'm noticing now at this track, especially because it's a power circuit, this car is very efficient, both on ERS and fuel, which is great, because it allows me to stay in higher engine modes for a much longer time, and to be able to push, which is great, so I'm very happy about that. That's one thing this car I've noticed already has a strong point of. It's hard to notice Australia because of the way the circuit is and the nature of it. But here I can definitely tell that this car saves ERS very good and also doesn't really burn fuel that fast. So that's good news, as I think I've just stayed within DRS there of Grosjean, which is important. There we go. Now it's about trying to catch up to the train in front. There's a huge battle going on involving Sebastian Vettel as we set another personal best. And at the minute, all those cars in front of us, a lot of them they're on super softs. So all our soft tyre runners, as we get turn 1 a little bit hot on the brakes, we're all in the race here because those guys are just basically, giving up lap time on the super softs, and us soft runners are actually able to keep up. So on the mini-map, you can see how many places are up for grabs here. This is why it's important to be the lead soft tyre runner in this race, and hence why I want to try and get there. But it's taken a little while because obviously we know how strong the AI are around this circuit. I do have better race pace, but it's taken a little while. I also caught a glance at the hairpin at turn 10, and it seems like the Haas cars are the remaining 2 soft tyre runners. So as long as we get past both the Haas cars, we should be good. We're also very close to Grosjean now. He will have DRS in the car in front, but similar to Ocon, he's not really that close to the car in front. I haven't had the best final corner, a bit of a scruffy one. Kind of lost the back end a little bit, and the front end didn't really want to turn in, so we are a little bit far back as that Red Bull comes in. We are gaining on Grosjean though quite a bit here. Look at the straight line speed. Grosjean does go defensive. We're going to have to be careful on the brakes to not overcook it. Not the best exit either, a bit of a scruffy one. Similar to Australia, the car just doesn't feel great. It definitely isn't as drivable as the McLaren when I first drove it at the start of last season, for example. This one's a bit more harder work, but I think that drivability will come once we start putting the upgrades on.
Sebastian is in the pits.
Sebastian pits in along with a few other cars on the super soft, so we're going to gain a few places up to P8 now. We've got the Haas cars as well, who seem to be almost battling here. Magnussen struggling for pace. Grosjean's also picked up the pace. I'm just kind of waiting here. These two cars in front are the ones that I need to pass this race. If I pass nobody else this race, that's fine, but I have to pass the next two. Strategy might be a key factor, but I think I can get past them both on track. It's just about getting a nice clean lap together, and I should be okay. Very strong middle sector there, personal best. We've got ourselves back into contention. Also, Grosjean no longer seems to be within a second of his teammate. Magnussen this lap picked up the pace. I'm just going to get off the throttle a bit there because I don't want Grosjean to go defensive and ruin my line through the final corner. I want to try and waste as least amount of time as possible. Here we go, Grosjean won't have DRS as we've got more cars in the pits. Personal best as we jump up to P5, make it P4 as we get the run on Roman Grosjean, and we breeze past even before the brake zone. There we go, 4th place, Magnussen's in 3rd. Let's try and chase him down and get that soft tyre, pretty much soft tyre leader, you could say, position in the race. So let's go chase him down and try and make that happen. Okay, Grosjean might have run at me here. He stayed within range and he's going to come back at me as we've got a Sauber leaving the pit lane. Charles Leclerc, the race leader, he's onto the medium, so he's going to try and go to the end on those tyres from now, which is quite a long way, but it is doable. Hopefully Leclerc trying to get after Magnussen might cost Magnussen some time. There you go, Leclerc down the inside into turn 4, and he's going to get that one done, is he? No, not quite. Magnussen still holding on. This is a good chance for me to close down the gap. There you go, Leclerc eventually gets the move done. That's going to set Magnussen back there a little bit. Oof, got to be careful with that curb. There's Ericsson leaving the pit lane. In the other Sauber, also going for the one-stop strategy, so we're going to jump up momentarily to P3. That was a strong lap from me. We actually managed to open up a nice gap to Grosjean, and Grosjean's now been set back even more by Ericsson leaving the pit lane. So let's try and get Magnussen here before Ericsson gets me, preferably. Okay, here comes Ericsson. He's going to make a pass on me pretty simply here. We're not going to really fight too hard. This is my scheduled pit stop lap, so I just want Ericsson to make the move and take the position. Not want to waste too much time behind him, to be honest. Hopefully he can cause a bit of trouble with Magnussen later on this lap, and that will hopefully set Magnussen back a little bit. Okay, looks like Ericsson is going to try and pass Magnussen to the final corner. That's going to just put Magnussen under pressure a little bit, cost him a little bit of time as we go into the pit lane here. Looks like Magnussen stays out. We're going to get it also down here for the pit entry. There we go. So here we go. It might be undercut time. Everybody else stays out. We're coming in. Good stop, 2.3 seconds. Can't really do undercuts normally. They're not my thing. We've got, obviously, remember we changed the front wing, so we've got a little bit more front end on the car now. But we're going to the end on these tyres. I need to hope I've got clean air. And if I can push off the get-go straight away, that'd be a lot better. We're going to rejoin here pretty close to, look at that, Vettel and also Van Dorn. Can we get out in front of Carlos Sainz? Little lock up there, got to be careful. Tyres are cold. Going to be on the back foot. Big time here. Tyres feel horrific. Going to have to go defensive here up towards turn 4. Come on, Ferrari, we've got this. Give Sainz the room. I'm going to just try and go, but I've got so much understeer on these tyres. This is why I can't see an undercut happening unless Magnussen loses a hell of a lot of time battling with Marcus Ericsson. Good thing is we have stayed in front. We now have clean air for the rest of the lap, so let's try and make it count. Switch on these these medium compound tyres, and let's see if we can make something happen. Right, let's see if there's anyone in the pit lane. There you go, got Haas leaving the pit lane along with Force India. That's Grosjean, so he's been jumped. We are going to get those 2 places back. Magnussen stays out for one more lap. Now this is a potential undercut now because Magnussen hasn't come in and my tyre's up to temperature now, so this could actually be a proper undercut this lap. This has to be a big lap from me, so we're going to keep it in rich mix. We're going to keep it in hot lap mode, and we're going to try and have a strong lap here. Front wing change has made all the difference, so I've got a lot more front end grip now, and the tyres are switched on. Here we go then, personal best across the line. Magnussen's leaving the pit lane now, so wow, look at that. Magnussen's still strong pace, was able to stay in front. He's going to be under pressure from Van Dorn here. He's also going to be on cold tyres, so hopefully Stoffel can cause him a problem up towards turn 4, but I don't think he's close enough. So Magnussen holding on, fair play, strong pace. Van Dorn does try to challenge, but doesn't quite get close enough. So now Kevin Magnussen will have 4 lap fresher tyres than myself. But let's try and hunt him down. I don't think this is over just yet. I think we will have the pace. I feel a lot better with the front wing adjustment. So Just try and hunt him down. Oh, strong lap, matching my personal best there. Starting to close the gap down to Van Dorn now. And that's closing the gap to Magnussen. Into the final corner. Good run there, good traction, good grip. Van Dorn stays out. Can we get the run?
Sebastian's in for his stop.
Vettel pits in along with a few others. Personal best. We have got the run on Van Dorn here. We're going to go for it into turn 1. We're absolutely going to go for it. He's struggling on the soft tyres. He's probably going to pit in this lap. So right now, this one-stop strategy is working out beautifully. We're P5 on merit, and we're trying to chase down P4. So the one-stop's worked out beautifully, and also my race pace, like I mentioned before, has been a lot stronger than my qualifying pace. We're able to compete and match up with the AI around us a lot better. So if I could just get Magnussen, I'd be so happy, because that will mean I'm the best of the one-stoppers, and that's what I want to be. Right, strong pace, another personal best. We've actually cleared Van Dorn over a second in front, so that's good stuff. I'm going to try and save some ERS now because I'm quite low, so I can attack Magnussen. So I'm just going to leave it in rich mix now for a few laps and burn off the excess fuel, and hopefully in that time the ERS should hopefully recharge. Right, ERS is charged up. We're going to make a push now for Magnussen. 1.4 is the gap. Just trying to have a strong lap here. Okay, we've just managed to get within DRS of Magnussen there. Has to sweat for it, but we've managed to make it. Personal best of 27.4. Here we go, boys. Magnussen just picked up the pace in that last lap. Just wasn't able to match him, really. Also, Ricciardo's starting to catch, and he's on the soft compound tyre, so he's going to be pretty quick, and we're going to have to do some defensive driving pretty soon here. Right, Danny Rick is on the back of me here. We're going to turn up the engine, see if I can defend from him, but I think he's got a little bit too much pace. I'm kind of tempted to let him go and see if he can give Magnussen some trouble. Into turn 1, Ricciardo on the inside. I'm going to try and switch back underneath. Oh, I haven't got really the much rear end grip, and I think Ricciardo's made that work. Rear tyres can't let me down there on traction. So I got a very nice switchback on him, to be fair, through 1 into 2, but I just couldn't find the grip. And Ricciardo makes that move for P5, just different in tyre compound, and also the Red Bull is a bit of a faster car than the Ferrari at the minute, so fair enough. Let's just try and follow him if we can, stick with his DRS, and see if he can drag me back towards Magnussen. Okay, Ricciardo goes for the move on K-Mag into the final corner. Doesn't quite pay off. Ricciardo will have DRS once again on the pit straight. Should be pretty simple now for the Honey Badger in the Red Bull. We set a personal best, 27.2. Strong lap, but I was giving everything, and I burnt out my fuel in the DRS there. Hopefully we can close back into Magnussen's DRS here and have another go. But I feel like he's got a little bit too much pace and tyres as well, which is a little bit annoying, but I'm going to try my best. At the minute, this is kind of annoying. Magnussen hasn't dropped out DRS completely, so he keeps on getting DRS on Ricciardo, and it's stopping me from catching up, which is really annoying me. So at the minute, I can't see things happening unless Ricciardo picks it up and shakes off Magnussen, because at the minute, it's not helping me. Right then, here we go, into the final corner. It's been a good race still, P6. We haven't catched Magnussen, but that's fine. Still P6, strong points, better than I thought. Only one position worse off than Australia. And actually, Ericsson wins the race. It wasn't Charles Leclerc, which is good for the championship. Obviously, Leclerc has got maximum points. So, all in all, a decent race work and some very, very strong points.
A great win then for the Sauber team today. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
Right, so here we have it then. The final race results are in. Marcus Ericsson wins the Bahrain Grand Prix ahead of Charles Leclerc, and he beats him on merit. A one-stop strategy for both of them, and Ericsson had more pace than Leclerc. Leclerc at the end was going for the fastest laps and trying to catch up, but still 7.8 behind his teammate. Alonso P3 in the McLaren, Ricciardo P4 on that good two-stop strategy, and then Magnussen, the first of the one-stoppers who actually started outside the top 10, you could say. And we come home P6. Very strong performance. Didn't expect that. I was hoping for 9th or 10th or maybe 8th at best, so P6 definitely exceeded my expectations, and like I said, only one position short of where we finished in Australia, so good consistency there. Esteban Ocon P7, and then we got Roman Grosjean 8th, Nico Hulkenberg P9, and Sebastian Vettel, my teammate, only scores 1 point in P10, so all in all, a decent race as we beat our teammate and score some solid points. And further down, we have Perez, Van Dorn in McLaren there, Verstappen, Gasly, Hartley, Stroll, Bottas and Hamilton. Sirotkin is the final classified runner with Sainz DNF from the Grand Prix. Both Mercedes, one-stop strategy and still got lapped. Absolutely incredible. My former team really struggling at the minute in the world of Formula 1. Now, in terms of what the race means for the Drivers' Championship, as you can see, we are P5. Ricciardo overtakes us, but still, good points in both races. Both Saubers at the top of the table are neck and neck. And also Vettel drops down to P14 there as he scores his first point, but actually loses a lot of places in the championship. In terms of the constructors, we remain P4. Haas are breathing down our neck, and we're 7 points behind Red Bull. So all in all, not too bad. And we go again in the next race in China, which I do fancy my chances. It's a strong track for me because it's just the way the AIR is a good chance for me to score some good points. And Baku after that is going to be a bad one. So it's important that we really do maximise China and have a good race. So hopefully all things go well. As you guys know from the last episode, I mentioned that we're going to try and bring a massive upgrade package for the Spanish Grand Prix, so no upgrades in this episode. Hopefully you guys do understand. But with that being said, if you did enjoy this episode of Career Mode, drop a like on the video. Also get subscribed if you are new to the channel for daily Formula 1 content, and turn on notifications to not miss a single video from me. Finally, check out these 2 episodes on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.